London, home to more internationally recognized landmarks than probably any other city in the world. A city where things happen, always have, always will. From Big Ben to punk rock, fish and chips to great cultural food experiences. London is everything you expect and everything you don't.
There's so much going on and the energy is just so fantastic.
Chef Dominic Teague is a chef that brings a little bit of the unexpected to this town, and sometimes it's food.
British are lovely people. They love their food, and that's how a country should be.
Atul Kochhar came here with a plan. Great Indian with a few surprises. Did he succeed? And Chef Michel Roux Jr., born to a name synonymous with food. This is a chef that has a few surprises that are all his own.
The pleasures of eating.
What's the inside story when it comes to eating in London? And what mark have these very distinct chefs left on the London food scene? It's all about to be revealed, right here, right now, on Three Chefs, One City. Three Chefs, One City looks at the world's great food destinations through the eyes of three of its most distinguished chefs. This time, we're in London.
I'm Chef Dominic Teague.
I'm Chef Michel Roux,
I'm Chef Atul Kochhar, and this is my London.
and this is my London.
This is my London.
3 generations in, I'm the guy to show you London.
Well, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of this kitchen.
Watch it.
The London food scene has had a bit of a mixed reputation, growing in popularity and becoming known for its international fare. But you don't hear much about great British food. Well, British fare is not just plain meat and potatoes anymore. And London is a destination for great British food, and for a few very notable reasons. One of them being Chef Dominic Teague.
So when it comes to London, Dominic Teague, he's the new kid on the block.
New kid.
Chef Dominic Teague, of one Aldwych fame, is ruling the Covent Garden district of the city.
There's really nowhere else for me in the country I'd want to be at the moment. There's so much going on. Every week there's a new restaurant opening up, somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that, and it never stops. It keeps evolving, and the energy is just so fantastic.
One Aldwych is a trendy boutique hotel right in the heart of the theater district, known for its 2 great restaurants, Access and Indigo, and a fairly unique British tea.
I think I've brought to the hotel a lighter touch, a slightly fresher touch. It's always been a fantastic hotel, it's always had a great reputation, but I wanted to try and bring something a little bit more modern to the hotel, and the afternoon tea is a classic example of that. We cater for a wide range of customers here. We have a big corporate crowd, but also it's great for families as well. We're right at the heart of the theatre land. There's all the shows and the theatres that are just within walking distance, and the river is just around the corner as well. So we really can cover and cater for all eclectic tastes.
Inspired by the nearby theater production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Chef Teague was invited to create a unique, whimsical tea. And he definitely did not disappoint.
It's playful, it's quite light-hearted. You know, I wanted to try and do something that reminded people of their childhood when they came in, but also it's serious enough to be taken that you can come and have a nice afternoon tea in a cracking environment.
Not every kitchen has a cotton candy machine, and this one gets a real workout.
It's not over-the-top gimmicky, it's still brioche that's made in-house fresh every day, but it's flavoured with blueberry for the violet beauregard in the book. There's gentle leans towards aspects of the book, but without being over the top. London is such a melting pot of cultures and classes and cuisines. It really is a melting pot. You know, hand on heart, I have to say, I think it's so unique, the fact that it works so well.
dead just like a monkey.
Dominic has worked and trained around the world, most notably under food master Marco Pierre White. His dishes have a reputation for color and texture.
I've always wanted to be a chef. It was in the family blood back a few generations, and I've just always wanted to be involved with food and cooking.
Dominic starts with a precise mastery of the basics and then layers his own sense of innovation into his dishes. Perfection. Axis carries a fairly notable cheese menu of around 16 quality selections. Where does he shop for these cheese treasures?
So this is the fromagerie where we get our cheese from for the hotel. Let's go inside and see what they got.
Described as stylish and unconventional, La Fromagerie is one of the best cheese shops in England. Chefs from all over the city shop here.
La Fromagerie was recommended to me a number of years ago, and I was just absolutely blown away by their passion and commitment to supporting chefs. There's always something different when you come in and exciting to buy that we can give our guests at the hotel.
Patricia Michelson is the expert that the experts turn to for cheese advice.
Now this is a brand new one to us, and it's
Yep.
one that's just coming into the scene. They're getting a lot of attention. It's called Burke's Blues.
Patricia's a great ambassador for British cheese in general. She's so excited that it's changed so much in the last 10, 20 years, where traditionally Britain was well known for its hard cheeses, the cheddars and the Cheshires.
And I call them elephant skin because it does look like that sort of grey, mottled elephant style of skin.
It's a
grey.
fantastic advance over the last 5, 10 years with the cheese especially. So it's only on the outside, it's not through the cheese.
And it's through the
It's through
cheese as well.
The more that we get the farmers involved and the people that are growing our food involved, the easier it is for us as chefs to produce fantastic food. Every cheese you could pick up, there's a story behind why it's made or how it's made or the reason behind it, or
Yes.
there's just so much knowledge in here and just education, like you say. And if you work closely with those people and suppliers like Patricia at Fromagerie, some of our fish suppliers and our butchers, then the job just becomes such a joy to do because you're just working with fantastic produce and it just becomes easy.
We are storytellers, and we are giving you a sense of place, where things come from. And that's the most important thing for us, and that's the joy in what we do. That's why we've got a room, so as soon as somebody walks in, they're actually meeting somebody and talking and walking through, tasting. That's the whole joy of it.
Yeah.
Three Chefs, One City looks at the world's great food destinations through the eyes of three of its most engaging chefs. This time, we're in jolly old London. England, that is. Big Ben, Windsor Castle, London cabs, that sort of thing. London is steeped in tradition, some of it thousands of years old, and some of it decades. Rough Trade. Anyone into any music scene really has to pop in here. Rough Trade began as a record shop and then became a very cool label, repping some of the coolest bands in history. Definitely a piece of London's more contemporary history. Of course, celebrated for its music and style, you don't have to look hard to find cool in London. London's East End, for example, boasts some great Indian fare, both in its restaurants and street food. This is a great pocket of the city for a huge variety of cultures and flavors, actually. Indian food is all over this city, a part of the London landscape. But we had to go a little deeper. Meet the world's first Indian chef to earn a coveted Michelin star.
I'm Chef Atul Kochhar, and this is my London. Hey Michel, your dad Albe eats Indian only when I cook.
Hey Atul, that's supposed to be a secret. Is there no honor between chefs?
When I came here, the whole system was pretty much like India, albeit a little more cleaner and a little less people, but it was pretty much same like living at home. I just fell in love with the place, to be honest.
Atul Kochhar is one of the most critically acclaimed chefs in Britain for his take on modern Indian cuisine. Indian-born, now British-based, Atul loves this city and what living here means.
There was so many opportunities to learn, so many opportunities to grow, and there was so much more work to be done with Indian food. I saw this as my canvas, I saw this as my playground, so I stayed back, and I call London my home and India my motherland. Hey guys, this is a bit of a cliche. British are lovely people. They are very friendly. You know, that upper stiff lip, maybe from 17th or 18th century, but the Brits I know, well, they're hearty people. They love talking, they love a talk. Everybody in my family and my friends were asking, why England? they are a friendly lot. They love their food, they love their life, they love their country. And that's how a country should be. Well, people ate a lot of Indian food in this country and they played a lot of cricket. I had all the reasons to be here and look at me, I'm standing in Lord's, can you believe it?
Cricket? I thought you were watching a real game, like rugby.
That's funny.
Cricket, a popular sport in both of Atul's country, a pastime that means home.
For me, there are two religions, yes. I follow cricket and I follow food. Don't think you should be going back to the bar anymore. You had a bit too much, okay? You know what? I take my one religion to other. I take my food to cricket and I enjoy it, and that's the way to do it. I obviously love this area because it just takes me back into my childhood. And my father, he used to take me and my little brother to Cuisine Stadium, which was the local cricket stadium, and we would go with our basket packed with all the dosas and biryanis and sometimes sandwiches as well.
On the grounds of Lord's lies the MCC Museum, which was opened by the Duke of Edinburgh in 1953 and is one of the oldest sporting museums in the world.
Reminds me that stuff I always wanted to see, and I feel like a child in a candy shop. I absolutely love coming here. This is the place for a cricketer. I got my first cricket kit from my parents when I was 3-year-old. Started playing cricket pretty much in the by-lanes or the tiny lanes of Jamshedpur. It's common in Indian families when a boy is given a set of cricket kit. And that's a very big moment in a boy's life, an Indian boy's life. My granddad used to run a bakery and my dad took over catering business. This old man of mine used to negotiate for onions for hours, for mangoes for hours. Even if those mangoes looked perfectly fine to me, he wouldn't buy it because he just wanted something that was locally grown. And I kind of didn't understand that sentiment. I used to get really irritated because all I wanted to do is get back in the field and play cricket with my friends. But no, he wanted me to stay with him as long as I could. Coming back now, I understood that what local produce means. It means fresh. It means flavor. It means season.
Benares has been open since 2003 and is the hotspot for upscale Indian cuisine.
Indian food is thousands of years old, absolutely right. And that's why precisely because it's so old, there's so much more to be done with it. I want to grow my food. I want to push on. I want to bring a new way of thinking.
The chef's table for 6 is where you can view all the action.
Thanks. Okay, here we go. This recipe is called Meen Moili. It's one of my favorite. I'm slightly more British in my approach. I have kind of made my food more universal. So just one bit of chili, half a chili, a bit of garlic. And I would create recipes with Indian spicing. These flavors are so primary to me, which would not mask the flavor of the main ingredient, but just enhance it lightly. While it starts bubbling, I like to serve a mash. In India, I would serve this with a cassava mash or even with rice. But here in the United Kingdom, potato is the king. And just to bring it back in the Indian flavors, I would add a dash of coconut milk. That brings in that richness, coconut richness into the mash. I'm going to keep that aside. And for my fish, this happens to be sea bream today in my kitchen, the fresh one. Just a little bit of salt, not too much. My understanding has come from the techniques, the understanding of the ingredients, the produce in the season, and also how people want to eat. The traditional way would be to just dip it in the sauce, let it boil. Yes, it'll be cooked, but there'll be no flavor left. Whereas like this, I can create a texture, I can create a flavor. And that's the richness of modern Indian food.
Never one to be satisfied with success, Atul frequently returns to his homeland for inspiration, intent on innovating and constantly creating new dishes.
I want to grow my food. I'm going to open a couple of restaurants in India later this year, and my aim is precisely that. I want to push on. I want to bring a new way of thinking. Well, there you have it. My Meen Moili or sea bream with rich coconut sauce. Enjoy.
3 Many chefs, one city is counting down food experiences in London, England. And one of the most iconic experiences this city has to offer is La Gavroche and Chef Michel Roux Jr.
I'm Chef Michel Roux, and this is my London.
Well, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of this kitchen.
Okay, Atul, if you think your kitchen's hot, come to my kitchen.
Le Gavroche was opened in 1967, and I grew up in London. I consider myself now a true Londoner. It's a city that I love.
You see, La Gavroche has been winning accolades for over 50 years, and Michel Roux is the world-renowned chef that is now continuing the legacy.
My reputation is founded on attention to detail, and that is not just about the food and the back of house, but most importantly, front of house as well. London is vibrant, it's a great city, it has so much to offer, including the great classics like Le Gavroche.
Born into a family of great chefs, it's not surprising that Michel is an amazing chef in his own right.
The reason why classics are always in vogue is because they have stood the test of time. They are always the dishes and the restaurants that customers come back to. And I think that's the secret to Le Gavroche's success.
Chef Roux trained away from the family empire, earning his stripes in France, Hong Kong, and a variety of places. Back in England, he trained under prominent chef Pierre Kaufmann. He then began to work in the family business.
The food that we serve here is classic, it is French, but it has evolved over the years. And that is the reason why it has been around for so long.
What a glorious day. London is so beautiful when it's like this.
London has changed so much over the years. I mean, there was a time when tourists would come to London just to see Buckingham Palace or go to the museum or catch a show at the theatre. But now, tourists are coming to London, to go and see all these wonderful sights, but also to go to have a great meal in a fantastic restaurant. And that's really pleasing. It's great to see. London really is a vibrant city.
I love this park. I love London. This is what it's all about. This is the heartbeat of London. It's where we get our oxygen.
Running marathons has been a passion of mine for the last 20 years.
This park has a 12-kilometre circumference and it's a great run. Sometimes in my break in the afternoon, I'll come out here and reinvigorate.
A marathon runner active in this community, Michel knows the London scene from a variety of perspectives.
As long as I can put one foot in front of the other, I'll still be out there with my trainers and running. I've worked all over the world, but I always consider London as the most vibrant, the most exciting city.
There's nothing like a great bespoke suit. And in Soho, London, it's gotta be Tony Ludwig.
What's really selling at the moment? What are the gents going for at the moment?
High blues. They will look great.
No, I'm not sure.
London has been known for its bespoke suits for ever. This is Michel's favorite tailor. He's been coming here for years. It's all in the details.
There's something really special about having a suit made for you, and it's worth that extra bit of money, the investment. The tailors here have the same passion and drive and desire for perfection as I have in my kitchen. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what you get, that's what you buy. This is so British. I mean, having a suit made for yourself here, it's just, it doesn't get any better than that, I don't think. That's nice, that's what it's all about, I think. And that's what people come to London for as well, isn't it?
La Gavroche was opened in 1967 by Roux's father and uncle.
I have a very good relationship with my father, and we get on well, and we understand what Le Gavroche is and where it's going to.
Michel Roux Jr. took over in 1991, adding his own flair to the menu while maintaining some of the distinguished recipes.
To make a restaurant successful and to have longevity, it has to evolve. So I did instill a few changes, making the sauces lighter, making the service more convivial, less elitist.
Such as the cheese soufflé.
Now I'm going to cook for you the Soufflé Suissesse, which is the signature dish of Le Gavroche.
It's a cheese soufflé cooked on double cream.
Now, for this we need some egg whites, and I'm using pasteurized egg whites. And we need to make a kind of a meringue.
The cheese soufflé, or soufflé Suisse, has been on this restaurant's menu since the beginning. You'd have to run a few marathons to work these calories off.
The cheese soufflé has been tried by several generations. We've had grandparents bring their grandchildren here and say, you've got to try the cheese soufflé. They cook in a hot oven, 200 degrees C, for about 10 minutes. That's the first cooking process. High-profile restaurant owners from all over the world are looking for an address here in London to come and open and vie with all of us. We've got Alain Ducasse next to us, and we've got Gordon Ramsay, neighbors as well. You know, great, big, high-profile names. Competition is good. It's healthy because it brings customers in.
A 2 Michelin-star French haute cuisine phenomenon. This London gem is reservations only, and make them in advance.
A little floating island, a little pillow, and then lots and lots of cheese. Very important. Light and indulgent, delicious. People come from all over the world just to eat this cheese soufflé. It is just one of those iconic dishes. Ah, look at that. Am I going to attempt this? No. And it's one of those dishes that will be on the menu forever. Now that's why I'm a chef. The pleasures of eating.
So there you have it, a look at London and its food scene through the eyes of those who define it. Dominic Teague, bringing a few of his own theatrical touches to London's theatre district.
There's really nowhere else for me I'd want to be at the moment, and the energy is just so fantastic.
Atul Kochhar, a Michelin-starred Indian chef with so many firsts.
I saw this as my canvas. I saw this as my playground. So I stayed back.
And the incomparable Chef Michel Roux Jr., a chef among chefs, but a master in his own right.
The reason why classics are always in vogue is because they have stood the test of time.
London is a surprisingly abundant food destination, deliciously diverse at every turn. One of the world's great food destinations, revealed here on 3 Chefs, 1 City.